My name's Donald Blackston, 994 Sweet Flower Drive, Hoffman Estates. Good evening, Madam President, members of the Board of Education. The agenda tonight is sort of puzzling and unusual for a public board to basically call a meeting to order, go into closed session, which from what I gathered could be a couple hours, and then come out and conduct the public part of the meeting. That's not really what the Open Meetings Act was designed to foster. I know a lot of you ran on transparency in the last election, that the district should be transparent, but we see the last thing, you're returning to open session. This is not the regular board's meeting night. I doubt that many people know about that there's going to be a presentation on community engagement, which seems sort of ironic that you're going to have a presentation on community engagement, but the community isn't going to be able to hear to see it unless they want to sit in the back of the room for a couple hours. Most districts would have a presentation and then go into closed session. I sort of have a little bit of knowledge in this area because way back when Mrs. Klimkowitz was aware, she wasn't on the board, but there was a time when District 211 was notorious for violating the Open Meetings Act. And I have the distinction of turning them in twice for violating, none of you guys, none of the staff here, for deliberately going into closed session, conducting stuff, coming out, not letting the public know what they were doing. And you're not doing any of that tonight, but you're getting real close to disenfranchising the public's right to know what the board is going to be doing or observing what is taking place, especially when it involves community engagement. Having a closed session and then coming back for a public session, a number of years ago, District 54 was reprimanded for doing the same thing. I don't know exact details, but they were called on the carpet for reversing what is the normal order of business. This is almost something like what the College of DePape did before the new board took over, trying to hide stuff from the public. Yep. And I know you're going to be looking at proposals or hearing a presentation on a strategic plan. I have no idea how much the cost involved is that you're going to be looking at from this association, but I would throw another option into your choices that I don't think anyone's thought of. District 54 did a strategic plan, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and they did not hire a consultant. Their staff facilitated the whole process, and so basically very little money was expended by the district themselves.
Mr. Glass, you can hold up.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I just want to point one thing out is, some people may think that there's only a couple of people really complaining or have concerns about the way business is conducted. Here's an example, is another community member who has the same views and feelings as a few of us, and been pointed out singly as being limited in perspective of opinions. Anyways, getting back to the theme, the comment here regarding this particular facilitated engagement that you guys want to conduct and undertake. From what I read through here, thank you for making that available to me. Unfortunately, it took some reminder to request it for it to be posted on the website, on board docs, otherwise it was pretty well hidden someplace, which is rather disappointing too. Anyways, this appears to be a facilitated program where it's pretty much what the district administration and the board members want to achieve. For the most part, it's reverse engineered into this. And as you packages, put it together. You kind of want to orchestrate, conduct the content around what you really want to collect for information. You produce a report from that and pat yourself on the back. That's fundamentally, I think, what this is all about. Back to the comment made before. I really want to understand. You may not want it, and we can't answer it now. Maybe in a publication, whatever. What is your true intent here? Because there's a lot of stuff that's in here. I have no idea what the final objective is. If it is to understand what the community truly wants to say, express, it may be much more viable to go out there and actually have town halls. Go knock on a couple doors. Do a cross-section of the community, not just perhaps a limited PTA audience or something of that sort. But there's a lot of opinions out there, feelings, concerns about the way business is being conducted around here. I don't really think spending 10, 12 grand for this, plus there's probably all kinds of follow-on costs for publications, media. I have no idea what this is ultimately going to cost. It's going to be a lot more than $10,000 or $12,000, I expect, and the time involved in this thing. So it'd be nice for you to listen what the total cost is going to be a program from start to finish, to the final document gets released or reading, as well as why wouldn't the board members or administration really take time out, have board town halls, local politician representatives, Mrs. Mussman, the village of Schaumburg does this. Mayor Rahm Emanuel did a town hall. What's so hard about that? We have some pretty well-compensated, educated people working here at the district that could very well, as the gentleman over there indicated, as 54 did, is actually put this program together versus hiring professionals who are led by veteran school communicators. My guess, probably former administrators or superintendents are probably involved in conducting this, or probably whichever. But point being here is, I don't really see the value of this. It takes simple, put the boots on the ground, spend time with the community, host a town hall at the library, someplace here, whatever, and have a one-on-one relationship with the community and hear what they have to say. May hear things you don't like to hear, but that's part of the job. And as an elected board member, I think it's fully understood. You need to put the time in, a lot of sacrifices into your job. I volunteered quite a bit at local church. I sacrificed a lot of personal time Saturdays and Sundays. I don't get compensated. I help save money to the congregation. Point being, you're here. For the 2-3 years you're elected as an official. Fully expect to put the time into it and not treat this position as a part-time or kind of a secondary objective. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I thought you called somewhere.
Excuse me, Mr. Parker, does that mean you want to address the Board of
Yes.
Education? Okay, please, obviously, it's Mr. Parker, and again, we welcome your comments.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And I have to agree with the two people that appeared here before me. If the Citizens Advisory Committee is just another avenue for the high school district or superintendent to get his point across to the community to basically dispel what a lot of people have been saying for the last 8 years that I've been following this school board, then I think it would be a misuse of initially the $12,000 to hire this company to do it. I think that the people in the community would rather you not do it. I remember engaging Mayor Larson and asking him and actually bringing his opinion to this school board several years ago about why he thought coffee with the trustees was important. And Ken Fritz at the time wrote me, I believe, 12 reasons why he thought that was important. I don't think there was much cost involved in there. It wasn't professionally orchestrated. It was just you talking to the trustees, and I think it was very effective. If you'd want to look into something like that, keep your costs down. $12,000 for just another avenue to get your point across doesn't seem to be best use of public money. My next point is, at the last meeting I was at, a person in the audience said that there should be a way to talk, or other districts have a way where you can speak to the board during the meeting. And I know Bob Lefebvre, when I asked him to switch the presentation with the public comments, you said that other districts do it this way. So in that regard, other districts, namely District 214, allows members of the community or people in the audience to address the board in between each item prior to a board vote. So I'd like to present that, just so you have it. This is off their board documents, and I'd like the, every member of the school board to have a copy of that. And I'd like a response on that from Bob, if you'd respond to me on that, why you wouldn't do it. My final point is on the Open Meetings Act, and I heard that mentioned. I think that's very important. I know it says in your board docs about citizens' participation that individuals or groups who wish to speak. I'm not sure why those people that are speaking in order to save time and money wouldn't be allowed to speak, let's say in an audio-visual sense, you know, or I wouldn't be allowed to show a little PowerPoint. I actually called Lisa Madigan's office and talked to an attorney on this. So I would like a response on that, maybe from Anna, because I think that this is a visual thing. It involves many members of the community speaking directly to the High School District 211 School Board. And I would like to know why I wouldn't be allowed to just present that. It saves time, it saves money. I've done it myself. I could put it in any format you'd like to have it. But just to get the ball rolling there, I think it would benefit everybody. And as far as I'm concerned, citizen participation would be better accessed if we went to the community personally, like a man on the street thing, and asked them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the Board of Education tonight?
Some of your literature. It looked like in some cases they had to have a specific need or something that the district was looking at. Do we have to identify something that's a need, or just, you know, general, general feedback on a number of things?
Right, that's a really good question, and that's more a product of what I grabbed off the shelf, I guess, than kind of representative of all the programs. We showed the pictures of Rockwood. That was long-range planning for a very, very strong school district that wanted to get stronger. Actually, Lyle is kind of an example of a very high-performing school district that was looking at some long-term goal setting, maybe looking at some facility issues down the road. But part of what we'll work with the superintendent in doing is defining that charge, much like you would give to any committee, and kind of defining what needs to be part of that. It may be kind of long-range goal setting for the district. It may be kind of looking at, you know, at least statistically, what is a high-performing district, figuring out what the challenges may be, kind of doing a SWOT analysis, talking about how to address those challenges. That's really your decision, not ours. So what we normally do is interview the administrative staff, develop a charge. We'll kind of take the lead in writing that, and then the superintendent and staff will fix it, bring it to the board, and then you'll fix it more in terms of kind of making it just right. But that's what starts the program, is a charge coming from the board. So you're getting recommendations that you want on topics that are interesting to the board.
So that in your proposal?
I'm sorry?
Is that the input sessions then, is what you're describing? Or is that different?
Well, there may be some confusion about how we do the research and the public opinion poll and the engagement sessions. We have doing public opinion research is an option, and when we do public opinion research, we have what we call input sessions that are kind of informal focus groups. The reason we call them input sessions, for those of you that are in marketing, you know, a focus group, you pay the participants. I've never thought it was a good idea for school districts to pay an incentive to people that are coming to a meeting. So we try to do them a little bit more informally. The reason we do those input sessions in part is they're more anything else than just to hear people. It helps us hear people talk about their district and language usage, so when we put the survey questionnaire together, it all sounds right to people. You know, a stupid example, if you don't have neighborhoods and have subdivisions, we might put the word subdivisions in. So it's a way of avoiding pulling a survey off the shelf and saying it was good enough for Naperville, so it's got to be good enough for District 211.
Right, so we'd be responsible for providing participants for input sessions, is that correct?
Yeah, what we'll do is sit down with the staff and talk about a process for identifying people to come to those. We've done everything from kind of making random phone calls to the community to calling the high school principal and saying, start at the letter M and start recruiting parents, figure out some random method. You may have some patron groups like some parent organizations that you may want us to talk to. The important thing to remember is that they're mostly to help us write a good survey questionnaire. We're fairly familiar with your district, but we may hear things in those groups that is important to kind of constructing that survey. And that's what the input session is about. So you kind of got the engagement piece over here, you got public opinion research over here. And other than topics, they don't touch each other much, if that makes sense.
With the engagement pieces, how do you attract more than just parents? I mean, parents obviously have a particular interest, but in one of you alluded to earlier, the community is more than just parents. So how do you attract both a wide variety of across multiple demographics and then also different kinds of community members? How do you reach out to those people who might initially not necessarily be as interested?
Jenna led a discussion last night at Brookfield Library, Public Library, where we were doing a program. And we put that in front of the facilitating team. How do we get a good crowd? And how do we get a diverse crowd? What are the communication vehicles we need to use? What are the groups we need to go to and let them know this is occurring? What kinds of process? We'll share with you what we've done in the past, but we want to hear from you on how to do that. And so there's kind of two answers to your question. One, we know some things that work that we've implemented in a lot of communities. But we also have 15 really smart people sitting at the table that can brainstorm this. And I really love that expression, no one of us is as smart as all of us. And there may be challenges. You may have a Latino population that we need to figure out how to get invited. If we invite the Latino population, do we need to have sessions like we did in Schiller Park in Spanish? Do we have to have sessions in Polish? These are all issues that we'll deal with in terms of just good old-fashioned problem solving, and getting at that. And like I say, we've done a lot of programs. We know that we've had some techniques to get people in the room. And I'll give you another example. In Bedford, New York, they said, senior citizens aren't going to come to our meetings. So in Bedford,